Oh, yeah.
All right, I will call the meeting to order then. We will start with roll call. Board Member Randall. I don't think that was you. Go ahead.
Present.
Board Member Barraza.
Present.
Board Member Rial.
Present.
Vice Chair Morales.
Present.
All right. So we want to acknowledge that Pima Community College is on the original homelands of the Tohono O'odham people and the Pasquayaki, who have stewarded this land since time immemorial. The practice of acknowledging the land of these sovereign nations brings to the forefront their enduring connection to this land, regardless of historical and current colonization practices. Let's also acknowledge that we all benefit from these lands on which we work and learn. We encourage each of you today to learn about the land we inhabit, the tribal communities connected to this land, and the ways in which you can contribute to restorative practices related to land and community. All right, moving on to our Pima mission moment. Will our digital film arts program folks please join us up here at the podium? Robert Loomis and Diana Cadena. And Dr. Durancic.
Good afternoon, Board Chair Taylor and Vice Chair Bernard Molares, members of the board, Chancellor, yes, and our guests. I have the honor of introducing Department Head Robert Loomis, who's going to be introducing one of our students and sharing the wonderful accolades that she has done within the art department. Dean of Arts Dana Rose, unfortunately, is not able to be here, but she's not here because she's actually being filmed by NPR AZPM for her own work. She's going to be having an exhibit, I think it's tomorrow, at the West Campus, and so they're doing a story on her. So she's unfortunately not able to join us. But Robert, would you like to come and introduce our student, Dana?
Thank you, Dolores. Hello. I've said Robert Loomis. I am the department head of the digital film and video department here at Pima, of which I'm immensely proud, and immensely proud to be able to introduce Diana Cadena, who was here pretty much early on when I was started, and that kind of student that makes it all worthwhile. The one that pays attention, that is serious, that you just know is going to make you proud of the program and proud of the school. And sure enough, she transferred to the University of Arizona, completed her degree there, and then was able to get a job at Channel 6 working for Arizona Illustrated, where this fall she was awarded an Emmy for being one of the cinematographers on that show. So I will, Deanna, please come up. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Nice to meet you all. I graduated from high school in 2018, and then I went straight to Pima that summer, and I graduated in 2019 with my associates, and transferred to the U of A and graduated in 2021, so I got my bachelor's in 3 years. I was taking like 21 credits a semester. And I also had like 5 internships while I was at the U of A, covering different things such as like just assistant positions, marketing, videography, editing, assistant editing, stuff like that. I really appreciate the work that Loomis does and the other professors, like for all the support that they give us students in the program. Honestly, when I transferred to the U of A, and I've heard this from other students that did the same as me, went to Pima first and then transferred to the U of A, we like Pima way better. The program is just so nice because it focuses on hands-on experience, which is something that the U of A not lacks, but they definitely have a certain group of students that can only really have most of the hands-on experience. So Pima is very open to kind of teaching everybody the same thing, no matter who you are, no matter what level you are, no matter what part of your career you're in or life. So that's something that I really like about Pima. Yeah, and many people can also testify to that.
Great, thank you so much. I wonder, if,
Yeah.
Robert, if we can get you back up here again real quick. We're trying something new in the flow of this agenda. I'm trying to find ways to get different folks engaged in different capacities. So hopefully someone gave you a heads up that I was going to ask you to lead us in the pledge, if you would, before we transition into the rest of the meeting, if you're comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was me or
You can do
Deanna,
it together, or you can do it individually, or
All
just
right.
stand there. You don't even have to talk into the mic. We all know what to do, so we'll stand.
Do we have time for questions before or after that?
Either one. We can. Let's do the pledge real quick,
Okay.
since everybody's standing up. Then we'll answer questions.
All right. And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's on the mic.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and we'll get that flow down in future meetings. The board member Rial, please go ahead.
So Deanna, can you just tell us a little bit about the film or the editing that you did to win the Emmy?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm a videographer editor for Arizona Illustrated at AZPM, and I worked on a story about colorblindness. So I was one of the videographers on that project. And it just talks about this program that the U of A was doing to help people with colorblindness get glasses to be able to see color for the first time. And so we went and we were able to film them seeing color for the first time. So that reaction was really nice to see and experience with all of them.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I was more of a request. Are we able to take a picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, with an Emmy winner, of course.
Thanks.
So let them. All right. Okay.
Oh,
I don't know what we're doing.
me either. Do we take it?
Oh, me as well? Okay.
You can all kind of squeeze closer together. That would go perfect. 1, 2, 3.
All right, thank you so much. Let's move on to 1.5, the public comment call to the audience. The Pima Community College Governing Board welcomes public comment on issues within the jurisdiction of the college. Generally, time for public comment will be limited to 45 minutes, and comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual. These time limits may be modified by the board chair or board. Individuals sharing comments are expected to communicate with decorum and respect. Individuals who engage in disorderly conduct or use derisive or insulting language may have their time reduced or concluded by the board chair. At the conclusion of public comment, individual board members may respond to criticism made by those who address the board, ask staff to review a matter, or ask that a matter be placed on a future agenda. Members of the board, however, may not discuss or take legal action on matters raised during public comment unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. Finally, be advised that internal college processes are available to students and employees for communication. So I think unless there's extra cards, there's only one that I was told of. They don't have any card, which is Michaela Hayes.
Good evening. I kind of threw my comment to the side last month, so I figured I would just come and actually give you that comment today. It worked pretty well still. So good evening, board members, Chancellor Nassy, colleagues, and guests. I'm Michaela Hayes. I'm your PCC president, math faculty, and the AERC co-chair. I'm going to explain what those are in a second. It's a privilege to be able to welcome, a month late, our new board members to PCC. I thank you in advance for your service and passion for the success of our students and our institution. It seems to be kind of a tumultuous time in public service, and I know this was not a decision you made lightly to put yourself out there. I want to officially offer the support of the faculty as you do your work. And the faculty at Pima are some of the most amazing people with strong institutional knowledge and a wealth of ideas and information. As we start off this working relationship, I want to introduce PCCEA to you. PCCEA is the Pima Community College Education Association, an affiliate of the Arizona Education Association and National Education Association, one of the largest unions in the nation. PCCEA has been board-recognized representative voice for full-time faculty at Pima regarding wages and working conditions for more than 40 years. The goal of our union is to ensure that full-time faculty are paid fairly and have appropriate working conditions, but more specifically, we want to see the college thrive with accountability at all levels, a healthy and involved faculty, and the best outcomes for our students. PCCEA is one of 3 employee representative groups at the college, the other 2 being ACES and AFSCME, who represent exempt and non-exempt staff respectively. In the past, these representative groups negotiated college policy on behalf of their employee class and served as partners with the college to ensure equitable and fair working conditions for all employees. This is still the assigned role via Board Policy 1.25, though now the All-Employee Representative Council, AERC, is your shared governance body that discusses wages and working conditions. Each of the 3 representative groups holds 1 appointed seat on the AERC. Over the last year and a half or so, discussions were started with the prior board and administration regarding what shared governance should look like at Pima. Your other shared governance groups include Faculty Senate, Staff Council, and Student Senate, which you have as your representatives. And they all have seats on the All-College Council. All of those governance groups, along with administration and the board, came together to have discussions on shared governance goals as well as obstacles. I believe this semester we should reconvene that shared governance conversation and get in writing a shared governance definition for Pima Community College. Having a well-defined written definition with clear expectations college-wide would provide a strong foundation of collaboration moving forward. Thank you for your service once again, and I look forward to getting to know you more.
Thank you. Just making sure I didn't see any other signups. If there, sorry, you're good. Go sit down. Just making sure there wasn't anybody else that was waiting for public comment, either in person here or online. All right, not hearing any. Let's move on to 1.6, summary of current events by board members. So, Board Member Randall, do you have any comments you want to make?
No, thank you.
All right, Board Member Barraza, any comments from you today?
Just briefly, I wanted to thank faculty, staff, the chancellor, the foundation for all the work they did for the ribbon cutting of the Health Professions Center of Excellence. Great center, looking forward to promoting it more within the community and having more folks go out and see it.
Thank you. Board Member Rial.
Thank you. I was invited to attend the All-Faculty Day in the beginning of January, and I was just really impressed and happy to see the Striving for Excellence Awards that I think it was the provost office awarded. I think that, recognizing our people, our workers, and our employees, I think that's a great way of bringing, the culture of caring back to the college, and I was glad to see you do that. So thank you to the provost's office. Maybe we can invite those recipients. I'm not sure if it would be appropriate, but sometime come here and just have them be recognized in front of the board if that's a possibility. We also had, the foundation had a presentation a couple of days ago, and at the last part of that activity, we sat at tables and we sort of talked about what we thought would be good next steps to improve outreach for the college, and Marcy even said that it was lots of different varied ideas, and so thank you, Marcy, for putting that on. I look forward to seeing, I'm going to attend the staff council meeting. So Dr. Nassi, this is your heads up. I'm going to attend the staff council meeting on Friday. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Vice Chair Morales.
I'd just like to make a quick note and say thank you to the staff that attended, and actually specifically to Chancellor Nassi for attending the Optics and Photonics Arizona Photonics Day Conference. It is really well received when Pima Community College participates in community events that significantly impact this particular industry that is so significant, not just here locally, but across the nation and across the world. So I want to say thank you to all of you that attended, and thank you for coming by and representing Pima Community College in such an important and significant industry.
Thank you. I'll echo, what Board Member Barraza said around the Health Profession Center of Excellence grand opening. It was a fantastic event. It's an amazing facility. I'm incredibly excited to see what doubling our output for health profession students is going to mean for this community and for the healthcare sector and addressing healthcare workforce shortages. I'm looking forward to if I have health needs, hopefully not anytime soon, but have health needs, to have those being met by Pima graduates at different places across the community. So I was honored to be part of that. It's an amazing building, an amazing facility, and I'll extend another thank you to all the faculty, staff, administrators, community advisors, and health professionals that were involved in getting that off the ground. And because I feel badly for him, but Dean Martin was, after all of his work, he was sick in the grand opening. So a big special thank you to him as well, even though I didn't get a chance to roll out all my Dean Martin jokes as part of the event that I was looking forward to using. I'll have to save them for another time. Just to address a couple little things real quickly, you may have noticed some shifting and changing of things on the agenda. One of my goals in working with Chancellor Nassi was to try to streamline these meetings as much as possible so that we were using everybody's time as efficiently and as wisely as we could. So we came up with the idea of moving the mission moment to the true beginning of the meeting so that when our invited guests didn't necessarily have to stay if they didn't want to, and they could be released to their families or to mealtime or whatever it is that they might be doing during this period. And then I am looking for different ways to get different folks engaged so that you're not always just listening to me drone on. So that's why we came up with the idea of maybe having our mission moment guests lead us in the pledge. We'll work on the flow of that as we get into future meetings. And we also consolidated some of the representatives to the board reports. So Jim Craig, who's done an amazing job for a long time giving us the administrator report. We're not going to have an administrator report anymore. It seems sort of redundant because most of the reports we get already are administration reports, and then the chancellor is the chief administrator. So then there was another administration report, and so it just seemed like there was an opportunity there to consolidate it. So Jim's been awesome. Thank you for all your time spending with us. Thanks for continuing to join us here. And again, I'm just trying to figure out how to use our time as efficiently we can. And we're talking about other ways to get maybe different board members involved in these meetings in different facets. So we'll have more conversations about that in the future. But my goal in general with all of my colleagues here is I want to try to get as many opportunities for all of us to be involved in as many different things as we can, because I think it's only a benefit to this institution that among the 5 of us, we have as much depth as possible and experience in different aspects of what we do, so that any one of us can step into another role at any time if needed. But I'm not planning to go anywhere, and hopefully none of my colleagues are planning to go anywhere anytime soon. But we know that things happen, and we've seen board members need to leave for personal reasons and resign. In fact, Board Member Barraza is filling the second person to be filling the end of another board member's term in here. And so I think it'll only strengthen the institution and strengthen this board that we give as much diverse experience among all of us as we can, so that we can all step into whatever role is needed of us and be successful in that. So I'm hoping to be able to, as we continue to work together, have a lot of depth among the 5 of us, so that we can continue to best serve all of your needs, all of our students' needs in the best way possible. So we'll continue to make some tweaks for efficiency and for depth of experience sake to get as many people as involved and as we can. And that's the last you have to listen to me drone on for at least a little while here. So let's move on to 2.1, the administration report. So the first will bring Dr. Duran-Cerda back to join us to provide the Chancellor's goal update on the Higher Learning Commission accreditation.
Hello again. So it is my pleasure to share with you an update on Chancellor's 1 goal, which has to do with the Higher Learning Commission. As you know, we, in December, completed our visit, here's the timeline, with the HLC peer reviewers coming to the various campuses and additional locations on the 9th through the 11th. We received their preliminary report of this visit on January 15th. And so what our role was to review it, look for errors of fact, and that's more like statistics, or if they got somebody's title wrong, make those corrections, send it back to the peer review team. They incorporate those edits, and then they send it to the HLC. The same thing we did with our branch campus report, and that covered West Campus, East Campus, and Desert Vista Campus. We did the same thing with the errors of fact with those reports. Send it back, and just a couple of days ago, the HLC sent us the final revised report that included all of the edits of the errors of fact. And so now we're reviewing that to make sure that everything was incorporated, and we have 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks to send it back to the HLC. Then it'll go to the IAC, which is the Institutions Actions Council, and they will review it and finally give the final approval. We'll receive it again, and then that one we can share with everyone. So we're at the very end of that kind of the timeline. Just as a summary of the results, we did complete and we met all of the criteria for review, which is excellent. A lot of work, a lot of people in this room, all of you, your support too, and the former board, very supportive of the process. We had lots of town halls, we had prep sessions, a lot of participation from faculty, staff, community members, administrators. But there were 2 areas that were met with concerns. This was not new. We expected that. Even at the exit interview with the peer review team, they shared with us that that was still, and so they're extending our monitoring of our additional locations. So that includes dual enrollment and also additional locations such as the prisons and other areas. The 2 areas that were met with concerns are criterion 3A, which is academic rigor and consistency, concerns about alignment of learning goals across locations and oversight processes. So as you know, I think it was in September, Dean Emily Halverson from Science moved to the Provost's office temporarily to take care of these kinds of processes. She's met with department heads, she's met with principals of the various locations, additional location staff as well. So we're putting very distinct process systems and processes in place. So there is the appropriate oversight. The other criterion was 4B, assessment of student learning. So they indicated there were gaps in communication and coordination of assessment processes, especially across the multiple locations. So basically, the takeaways are that we need to work on consistency, communication, and accountability. We've shared these results with various stakeholders within the college. We had our provost leadership team and dean's meeting where we discussed ideas, how can we help this? We've already started the work, we have a plan, but how do we really develop this framework plan? Also, Strategy Cabinet this week had a nice discussion also regarding what the plan would consist of. Later in February, we'll be having an academic affairs forum, and we'll be asking faculty also for their input as well. So, as part of the addition to the Chancellor's Goal 1, I think it was approved at the last board meeting, there's going to be a corrective action plan. So this will be created through the Chancellor's Cabinet, and we're hoping that we will have this plan done by April to present to the board, a very detailed action plan. So we're in good shape. We know that we have work to do, but that's continuous improvement. But we're very happy with the results and that we met all of the criteria. So I don't know if you have any questions.
Yeah, and just one statement, just so everyone is aware. So when we were building the agenda, we had asked sort of for this overview of initial steps, which we should celebrate, by the way, because this is great news overall. We are going to do a deeper dive in a study session coming up that will include the college's plan to address those areas of concern. And so you are welcome to ask questions now. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but just so you know, we will do a deeper look at it in the future. But since it happened, we wanted to make sure it be presented the latest at one of our meetings. But congratulations to everybody that's involved. I'm sorry.
We're
Please,
very
if
pleased.
you have any questions, go ahead.
I have a quick question. Will that be at the next study session on the 17th?
That's my recollection, yes. But I have to go back and look, yeah.
Anything else?
Any questions, comments? All right.
All
Well,
right.
congratulations again to everybody that was involved. I mean, I know there are those two areas of concern, but I mean, I've been part of lots of large organizations that go through various kinds of audits. There's always something that isn't exactly, and you know, based on some of the places that the college has found itself with the HLC in the past, this is a phenomenal result. So thank you to everybody, not only that was involved in working directly with the HLC for the review, but also all of the work over the last 10 years to make sure that we're staying in line with the HLC's expectations that maintains our accreditation, which is important. So thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you for your support, all of you. Thank you.
All right, next is Chancellor's Goal update on increasing enrollment and retention from Dr. Irene Robles Lopez.
Good evening, Board Chair Taylor, Vice Chair Bernal Morales, our other new board members, welcome, Dr. Nassi, colleagues, guests. So happy to be here with you today to share this update on Chancellor Goal number 2. Again, my name is Irene Robles Lopez. I serve as the Vice Chancellor for the Student Experience. And so my focus is really looking at students overall and trying to work on collaborations, partnerships across the college with other departments to see how we can work together to make sure that our students are succeeding. And so Chancellor's Goal number 2 was increase enrollment and retention. So increasing enrollment, our goal for that was increasing enrollment from 44,579 to 45,471 by March 22nd, 2025. And so we were looking at a 2% increase. And so very happy to say we have already met that goal. And so in one of my next slides, I'll go a little bit deeper into that. With increasing persistence, we were looking at the voluntary framework of accountability. We looked at our 10-year average for persistence for our new students. That's where we got our baseline number. And so what we were looking at is improving that persistence rate from 63.7% to 65.2%, also by March 22nd, 2025. And so right below that, you do see the other areas that have responsibility or oversight for the sub-goals under this larger Chancellor Goal. So we have academic affairs, student recruitment and marketing, Pima Online, student affairs, college readiness, and student success. And so again, very exciting that we have reached both of these goals. When we look at increasing persistence, that number does change on a daily basis because sometimes a student may end up dropping a class, student may end up deciding that maybe this isn't the right time. So at this point today, we slipped right under that goal number, but we are still continuing to focus on how can we support students to make sure that they do persist. So in looking at increasing college enrollment, and so there you can see the numbers where we were at spring 2024, what our goal was, and then where we currently are. And so with those numbers, very exciting to see that we have been up for the last 8 straight semesters. Our enrollment has been up, which is definitely positive because that has been a big focus, is really trying to outreach to our community, to our high school students via dual enrollment, again, our adult learners as well. We know that we have very broad community, and so definitely that is an area of focus. So very excited that our head count is up about 3.09%, which is really, really good. And so again, always room for improvement. We're always looking at this from a continuous improvement model, and so we're continuing to look ahead as well. And then for our persistence goal, you can see that as of January the 23rd, we were at 65.8%, and our goal was 65.2%. And so again, still continuing to focus on how can we better serve our students, how can we better support them, and make sure that they come to us, that they persist, and that they complete the semester, and then ultimately complete their goal, whether that's a few courses, whether that's a certificate, or whether that's a degree. And so again, definitely wanting to make sure that we meet our students where they're at.
Irene, the slide isn't moving on our thing. I don't know if it's moving on yours
sorry.
or not. No, that's fine. I just wouldn't be, I didn't know if it was stuck or just.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, there we go. So what we did this go-round with our Chancellor goals is we looked at it from a perspective of what are some new things that we can do to help support our students. And so we did have a priority registration pilot. We had an incentivizing registration goal, which again is something I'll talk about on the next slide. Our Super Saturdays, prior to the start of every semester, we do have 4 Saturdays where we really focus on providing an all-hands-on-deck approach and encouraging students to come in with their parents, with their families, ask questions, find out about financial aid, get enrolled, get registered. We have quite a few people and quite a bit of representation from folks across the college that are there to provide information and to answer questions. And then marketing and outreach to students also took a different approach. They did a lot of kind of one-on-one calling, and so they actually looked at students that had graduated this last prior year that were not enrolled in higher education and called them personally to see if we could get them to come in, talk to us, look at, what are some of the options that we have, just so that they know and they're aware that we are here and we're here to welcome them. One of the new and really exciting things that I think has been very effective is that Dr. Nancy actually initiated Friday morning. It's a standing meeting every Friday morning. So leadership that has oversight for the different areas of this goal, we meet every single Friday morning. We go through, we talk about what's working, what's not working, where are there areas of improvement, what do we need to look at next, just so that way we're always looking forward and always looking, again, as I mentioned, from a continuous improvement model, because we don't ever want to get to the point where we say, okay, we reached the goal. It's like, yes, we reached the goal and we're looking to do these other things that we know will better support our students and our community. And so the incentivization of registration, all of you will be receiving an invitation for this event. We haven't quite identified the date yet because we're working with our students. Our students are the priority, so we are working with them. But this was something that we did where it was open to all students that registered for 6 credit hours during the specific term or time of November 6th to January the 15th. And so all students that registered during this time were automatically entered into a raffle. And so with that raffle, all the awards, we had 5 $300 cost of education certificates that were provided by our Pima Community College Foundation. Thank you so much, Marcy. Our 5 new Lenovo V15 laptops that were provided by Pima Online, so Michael Amick and his team. And so we actually worked with STAR. The students have been identified or selected. The drawing was held January 31st, but of course we're coordinating with them, and we really want to make it a celebration of our students. Those that did win, have them bring their family, have them bring their parents, and you will absolutely be, part of that celebration, just because we really want them to know that we're so happy that they're here, they're important to us, and we want to make sure that they feel valued and that they know that we are here to support them. And so something that we haven't done, and is just really another exciting opportunity for us. And then moving forward, we will be doing an after-action review. Again, the deadline for the goal is March 22nd, so we still are actively working on this. We'll be looking at what lessons did we learn from the goals that were identified and the different strategies that we used. And then we also are looking at a continued focus on enrollment and retention. So Dr. Nassi is already looking at, let's start talking about summer, let's start talking about fall. What are we going to be doing to ensure that we are supporting our students and supporting our community? And then just another point that I just want to make sure that I do share is I definitely want to thank, for one, our faculty. Our faculty, Dr. Nassi and others of us met with the faculty in the fall semester and really asked, what ideas do you have? What is your feedback? What could we be doing differently to better support our students? And so we got some really good feedback, really good ideas and thoughts on what they were seeing in the classroom. So we were able to incorporate that. So, many thanks to our faculty colleagues, and then also to our staff. Our staff really are the frontline folks working with students, answering questions, helping to support them as well. And so I just want to make sure that we're acknowledging all of the folks that are working with our students, everybody that is supporting them, because this really is key to their success. So I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Questions, comments? No? All right. Well, thank you so much. And I'll echo the thank you said to the faculty and staff involved. And I mean, clearly it's a win to see our enrollment numbers going up and seeing those improvements. And I think if students didn't feel like they were getting value out of what we were providing, they wouldn't keep coming in increasing numbers. So that's a great testament to everybody's work. Thank you. All right, so next we have a mission review process update, but my agenda here just says strategic planning team co-chairs without actual names on it. So Dr. Richmond, we have at least one. I don't know who else is supposed to be part of it, sorry.
Just me for today.
All right.
Chair Taylor, members of the board, Chancellor Nassi, colleagues and guests, it's a pleasure to be here to share with you an update on the mission review process, which is one of the priorities for the spring as part of the comprehensive planning process. So a number of things are underway. We're in the process of finalizing membership of the strategic planning team, which is why it's me here today and not the other co-chairs of the team, because we're still finalizing memberships of that group and the other related planning teams who will be involved in developing education priorities, etc. We've had some preliminary sessions on the mission to gather input, which we did last semester. As it currently stands, we have a survey out in the field gathering input. It's been sent to all employees. It's going out to students and community members. It's been with employees the longest, and so I'm going to share with you the preliminary results as it looks right now. We only have 190 responses so far. The survey is still open. This is not kind of like the end result. But to give you a feel for how things look, for our purpose statement, transforming lives through affordable education, 75% of respondents like the statement as written. Only 8% would actually start from scratch. There's a few suggestions of some minor revisions, which will be considered by the strategic planning team. For the vision statement, this is a slightly longer one that starts as a premier community college, Pima Community College will ... For this one, about 11% would start over, so it's a similar, well over 80% like the statement, close to as written. But here we see a slightly lower of satisfaction with the full statement. More people want to see some slight adjustments. And what we see in the comments, which is consistent with the sessions in the fall, is that there's some hesitancy around as a premier community college. and whether that particular phrasing is valuable and whether we should revisit that. So that's what we see for that statement. For the mission, it's a similar picture. So empower every learner every day for every goal and the related statements. So here, 72% of respondents like the statement is written. About 13% would start from scratch. So we see some input around some adjustments there. And then behaviors, again, a very similar picture. Mostly support for the statement as written, but then some people looking for adjustments and rephrasing. So I would say for the behaviors, one of the things we've heard through the open discussions is perhaps moving those to the employee handbook and shifting the mission framework back to values as opposed to behaviors. So as mentioned, these are preliminary results. We won't have full results from employees for about another week. Survey will be open about 2 weeks for students and community members. What we'll do with these results is we will feed it into the discussions by the strategic planning team. We will also be discussing the mission at the 2025 Futures Conference, which is scheduled for March the 14th. In a scheduling change, that was going to be a morning event, but we have a key scheduling conflict with an important meeting in the community, so we're moving it to the afternoon to ensure we don't have a conflict with Workforce Investment Board, which is meeting that morning. This is a bit of an experiment for us. We've never had an afternoon futures conference, so hopefully it goes well at that time. We get good attendance. But we will proceed with a discussion and see where this takes us in terms of mission review. But for right now, it's continuing to look like we're in a relatively strong place with the current statements, but some fine-tuning is going to be needed to get them where they really need to be. And with that, I would be happy to take any questions.
Any questions or comments?
I have a question. For the employees, is it an opt-in, sort of, whoever wants to respond to the survey?
Yes, it is.
Any other questions or comments? No? I have just a request, and either if it comes from Dr. Nassi or Dr. Richmond,
Absolutely.
but the community member link for that survey, I don't know that I have that, but if somebody could send that to me, I would certainly be happy to share it with some of the community organizations that I work with that might be interested. I can't guarantee you'll get more responses, but I can do my best to try to drum up some interest if you could send me the link to that.
That would be wonderful. I'll send it to Andrea for release to the board.
Great, thank you. All right, good. Thank you so much. All right, so we're moving on to 2.2, the reports by representatives to the board. We don't have any physically with us here, but maybe they're online. So do we have the new student representative? I know we haven't had a chance to meet him yet. Are you online or, oh, you're here, all right. Come on up here, join us. You got a seat over here. I don't know if it literally has your name on it, but you're welcome to come join us up here. Proceed whenever you're ready. You just have to hold down the red button.
Can you hear me there? Okay, thank you. This is a nice chair. Hello, everybody. My name is Miguel Sepúlveda. I am representative of Student Senate. Today, I'm here. Did I say good evening? I'm sorry. Good evening, Chancellor. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, members of the board. Good evening, staff, guests. So allow me to begin with adult education. The ambassador program welcomed 11 new Pima College adult education ambassadors. This session, ambassadors will continue to acquire more skills and exhibit stronger communication and digital education. And student life had a pretty busy first couple of weeks with numerous important events, starting with our Welcome Week tabling, where volunteers all across the college tabled from January 16th to the 23rd, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., helping students with directions to find their respective classrooms and giving out Welcome Week bags that were provided by Student Life. January 21st was International Day of Racial Healing, where students had the opportunity to participate in art activities to express their commitment to racial equality. We had an open house in Student Life Centers on January 22nd for the Desert Vista, Northwest, and East Campus, and on the 23rd for Downtown and West Campus. Student Life also hosted our club fair, where students explored various extracurricular organizations and student clubs from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. On January 27th for our Downtown campus, 28th on the East Campus, 29th in Desert Vista and Northwest, and the fair ended on the 30th in the West Campus. This month, Student Life will also celebrate African American History Month on February 10th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the West Campus. First year experience. Our spring first year experience Connect Year orientations concluded with 155 students attending one of our live sessions. 3 of them were hosted at downtown campus and 7 of them were hosted virtually via Zoom throughout December and January. Since August 2024 through January 2025, 1,067 students have completed the online self-paced D2L Connect You orientation course. The team of first-year experienced peer mentors will be tabling weekly at West Campus to connect with new students and share how the first-year experience program can support them and their friends at Pima Community College. Some upcoming first-year experience events in January and February of this year. On the 31st, we held our first Faces of the First Year podcast with Campus Childcare. Julie Mendivil, Program Manager for the Child Care Center at Desert Vista, shared some key information about how these resources can support our parenting learners. On February 12th, exactly 1 week from today, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., we will hold Popcorn with a Program at the East Campus, where all prospective, new, and current students can enjoy free popcorn, while also meeting advisors, faculty, and student life clubs related to our featured meta major being social sciences, humanities, and education. On February 18th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Career Cafe at the West Campus. We will be collaborating with 12 college-wide volunteers and EECS staff to teach students career readiness skills related to cover letters, resumes, interviews, transferable skills, and teaching them about Pima Community College's career resources. In addition to offering free coffee, which is always on point, the Pima Community College Guitar Ensemble students will play live acoustic music while earning performance hours for the program. And last, but certainly not least, Student Senate. Student Senate welcomed new and current students and assisted with this Welcome Week tabling at their respective campuses. As I said, this tabling happened from the 16th of January to the 23rd, and we tabled from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are currently holding a special Northwest election with applications open from the 7th throughout the 31st of January. And the election is being hosted now on Pima Engage from February 3rd. It opened, and it will be closing on February the 7th. Student senators will be holding office hours and tabling at each campus once a month, all throughout the spring semester, as we continue to get student feedback. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us, Miguel. And that comfy chair is yours anytime you are with us, so you are welcome to hang out there. Any questions or comments? No? All right. Then moving on to the adjunct faculty report. Is Sean Mendoza with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Chair Taylor, Chancellor Nassi, new and returning members of the board, and honored guests. The adjunct faculty's first meeting will not be until this Friday, so I don't have much to report except that we have 3 special guests. Kylie Seegers will be visiting us to provide an overview of the honors program and how we may further engage with our student population. From IT, Lorenzo Trevino will discuss security topics to help further safeguard the institution and our students. And lastly, Rosa Valenzuela will provide a presentation to the adjunct faculty interested in joining the full-time ranks of the college. Since there's no automatic pathway from adjunct to full-time status, the presentation will describe our institution's hiring, application, and interview process to better inform and prepare adjunct faculty in this endeavor. We'd like to thank the Provost's Office, Kate Schmidt, and my fellow adjunct faculty member, Patrick Moore, for bringing this to our employee group. As always, you're welcome to join our adjunct faculty meeting this Friday from 10 to 10:50 a.m. And if you aren't able to make it or to attend, please let me know and I can send you a recording of our meeting and its highlights. And in closing, I'd like to say thank you and welcome to the new and returning board members. We look forward to working with you in the months to come in support of adjunct faculty and in service to our students. This ends my report.
Thank you so much, Sean. Any questions or comments for Sean? No? All right, we'll move on to the staff report. Erica, are you with us? No? All right, well, let's move on to the faculty report. Dr. Lennon, are you there?
I am. I'm not a doctor, however.
Oh, I promoted you. Go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know if you can see the background. Those are the Catalinas that I get to see right outside my window. I am coming to you live from the Center of Excellence Health Professions. So let me start my report, please. Good evening, Chair Taylor, members of the board, Chancellor Nassy, esteemed guests and colleagues. Thank you for the opportunity to provide this update, and my apologies for not being there with you in person. But as I just mentioned, I am signing in from our newest Center of Excellence Health Professions. Thank you for attending our recent ribbon cutting ceremony, and I hope you enjoyed the afternoon events. I have several important items to share today regarding faculty activities, governance updates, and ongoing institutional matters. The first Senate meeting of the year will take place this Friday, February 7th, via Zoom from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Board members are invited to attend, and login details can be found on our Faculty Senate website, as well as within the written report. We are in our third full week of the spring semester, and faculty are working in all modalities dedicated to ensuring students receive high-quality education. However, there is considerable uncertainty due to the potential dismantling of the Department of Education. We do appreciate the timely updates from the Chancellor. This situation is understandably created concern among faculty members, and we will keep you informed of these concerns. On January 30th, 2025, the Senate President and President-elect met with the institution's internal auditing director as part of an ongoing audit of employee representative groups. To our knowledge, this is the first time such an audit has taken place. A report detailing the findings is expected to be published in the near future, providing further insights into the structure and function of these groups. In addition to these developments, several Senate office key initiatives are underway, such as the committee repository. Senate officers requested a centralized repository for committee activities, documents, and decisions to improve transparency and accessibility in September 2021. The administration is leading this initiative, and we emphasize the importance of timely implementation. Although the repository isn't everyone's top priority, it would allow us to identify committee goals, to eliminate redundancy, ensure there is enough members on each committee to achieve such goals, and to streamline processes and procedures at the college. We're also looking for initiatives to strengthen communication. Efforts are being made to enhance communication channels from the college, directed specifically to students and faculty, ensuring clarity on academic expectations, resources, and institutional updates. In fact, I just received one from the Dean of Students in my email box. The BP and AP process improvements. We are working with administration to improve the review process related to communication, evaluation, and feedback mechanisms, aiming for a more efficient process while maintaining a transparent system. And finally, the shared governance model. Defining and implementing a clear shared governance model remains a priority. We are focused to establishing a framework that ensures meaningful participation from faculty, staff, and administration in institutional decision-making. The first priority should be to define shared governance for Pima. We appreciate the board's ongoing support as we navigate these challenges and opportunities. Thank you for your time, and this concludes my report.
Thank you so much. I could just like make up a title for you, like Ambassador Lennon. Like we'll keep just, I'll give you some new ones every time. Any comments or questions from the board? No, I just have one brief comment. You know, you were talking about concerns about what's happening federally, and it just reminded me that I didn't mention it in my summary of current events, but, you know, there are 4 of us on the board who will be going to Washington, D.C. next week for the Association of Community College Trustees Legislative Summit, which is part conference, but also part congressional visits with all of Arizona's congressional delegations. So I know the college has been preparing information and materials for us, but I just wanted to encourage you and anybody else, for, you know, people that have concerns or have questions, make sure you're sending those up to the chancellor's office so that we can make sure when we're having those congressional visits and conversations that I don't know that they're going to have all the answers either. I know there's a lot of uncertainty here, but we're going to be doing our best to advocate for what's best for our students and for the college next week as all of these decisions are made. So I wanted you and everybody else to know that we're to the extent we can be, we're engaged in some of those conversations as well. All right. No other questions, comments? All right, we'll move on to the Chancellor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board. Always good to see you, colleagues, faculty, and staff. Senator Miguel, I like those frames, man. Those look sharp. Those are good. You know, I think the first order of business is to move the Chancellor's office to the Center of Health Professions, where Rita was sitting. That is some view. That almost looks fake. That's outstanding, right? That's great. You know, always a pleasure to be here and really reflect as we begin 2025 and nothing short of a productive and an eventful beginning of the year and month here at Pima Community College. Tonight, I want to highlight a few things for the board. As you heard, Dr. Duran-Serta and her teams were really excited about the report from the Higher Learning Commission on accreditation. Always great to have a third-party evaluation come in and see where we stand on things. And yes, the headline certainly is we met all the criteria and still have some work to do. But want to recognize the team and really some great work in ensuring, right, that this is an institution of academic excellence. And I think that reflects that. You have also heard today our enrollment, you know, and I don't want to short sell Dr. Robles-Lopez, Dr. Duran-Serta. You know, we're doing a lot of different things to try to move that needle, bringing students into the institution, but keeping more of those students. As you can see, that 10-year historical trend, right, about 63% of our students make it over from the fall to the spring. And we're doing everything we can just to start with 2%. Can we get that to 65 and then, of course, build on that? That means re-examining our processes, our functions, how we do things. But we really want to make an impact, right? We want students to stay with us and finish what they started. And that's great work by that entire team. And communication is a part of that. That's the third goal in terms of our immediate priorities. And I've already set up, as you know, we're doing a lot of things around communication. Certainly I'm doing my best to get out and listen to students, to faculty, to staff. And I've actually set up a direct meeting with the faculty leadership, with myself as the chancellor, just to make sure that we're doing our best to try to communicate up and down this large organization. You raised of course, the thoughts around the recent developments at the federal level. We've recently kind of been having a flurry of directives and policy proposals that have certainly created some level of uncertainty. And I want to emphasize a couple of things here. One is how critical federal grants, federal funding are to Pima Community College. You know, as you know, we receive no annual operational or capital funding from the Arizona legislature, something we're working on. We have support from our local legislative delegation. But that makes these federal resources essential for maintaining our programs and services. And we know if we look at last year, you know, we had active federal grants totaling around $40 million when you look at the lifespan of those grants. And these grants can be large grants, they can be small grants, small awards. Some require a state pass-through and matches. Some are partnerships with local organizations. But each of those grants plays a vital role in supporting our innovative community, our community responsive program. So any disruption to those funding streams, could significantly impact our ability to serve students in the region. So we are very, very closely monitoring those proposals to restructure those programs. We've heard about, dismantling parts of or the entirety of the United States Department of Education. Our government relations team remains in close contact with policymakers and national higher education associations. And for now, and this is important, federal financial aid programs remain unaffected. And we are dispersing aid here at the college as usual. And we are committed to keeping the college community informed as best we can as we learn things, and we'll provide updates and resources as new information becomes available. In the meantime, while that's happening, concurrently, I've convened a team of leaders led by Dr. David B. and Aubrey Conover are co-leading this, who meet regularly to assess these developments. We have a cadence of meetings and their potential impact on our college. I want to stress that everyone should continue to do our work, right? Their work as usual, unless, something happens, of course, we'll adjust. And we're evaluating the situation, and we're making the necessary adjustments. So together, we're going to stay agile and proactive in serving our students, adapting to these changes, and always, always prioritizing the success and well-being of our students, right? That's first and foremost at our mind as we work through this process. We're very fortunate to have great relationships, outstanding support with from our elected officials across the aisle. I want to express my gratitude. I've been able to meet with our delegation here from Pima County for their ongoing support. This includes, I've met individually with Stephanie Stahl-Hamilton, Representative Villegas, Representative Kevin Volk, Senator Vince Leach, been very supportive, Senator Sally-Ann Gonzalez, Representative Rachel Jones, Representative Lupe Diaz, and I had also an opportunity to meet with the governor, with the other group of chancellors and presidents from the Arizona Community College, who's also in support. So regardless, Republican, Democrat, Independent, we've had great support locally from our local membership. And as you mentioned, Chair Taylor, we're going next week to Washington, D.C. to meet with our congressman, Juan Ciscomani, and Congressman Grijalva's office. Both have been amazing and supporters of Pima. Of course, Congressman Ciscomani is one of the more famous alum here at Pima and has been always a great supporter of the college. Senators Kelly and Gallego, likewise, extremely supportive. So we're going to continue to advocating for those critical resources for our institution and the policies needed to support our students and programs. In terms of programs, moving off that, just some highlights that I'd like to bring. We mentioned the Center of Excellence, the Health Profession Center of Excellence on the West Campus. Thank you all for your participation and coming out. And what an amazing facility, right? That's something to celebrate. $33 million invested, state-of-the-art facility, programs like nursing, surgical technology, pharmacy, dental studies, home health, respiratory therapy, great labs. And this is all about addressing the healthcare workforce needs in Southern Arizona. And the design there, of course, is to double our capacity and our output. So it's a win for the college and certainly a win for our community. Vice Chair Bernal Morales mentioned the photonics sector. That was a great event, very cool. That's lasers. Photonics is lasers, right, and optics. To go out there and see that really it's cutting-edge technology. We've actually dedicated space for a photonics laboratory in our advanced manufacturing building. So again, being responsive to industry, collaborating with our industry partners, and looking at a curriculum developed on optics, lasers, and instrumentation. So that's really exciting. Also had a chance to meet with our board from Santa Cruz, right? We have a center down in Nogales, and we will continue to provide support for that center and see it grow and thrive, and they have a lot of exciting things, and that was really a great opportunity and a great partnership to continue to support them, and I want to thank and recognize the board members who attended that session. Our partnerships remain strong. We had a chance to meet with Superintendent Kathy Prather and tour the JTED facility, and we have great alignment, right? We have a lot of alignment with what we're doing here at Pima and what's happening at JTED in terms of enhancing those career pathways for our students. You know, one of the great highlights, and Board Member Real mentioned this, was our all-faculty day. So this kind of kicks off the semester. It's put on by the faculty and the Faculty Senate, and they kind of did it in a morning talk show format, which was really entertaining and fun, but also highlighted the great work of our faculty, and faculty were able to receive some much-deserved recognition at that event, and it really set a strong tone for the year. And I just want to recognize our Faculty Senate, led by Professor Riley, Denise Riley, and her team for making that happen, and it was just outstanding, and all the support that was involved there. This week, I had a chance to sit in. It's always the best part of my week is when I get to go and see what it is that we do, and that's educate students and sit in classrooms or labs and see faculty work their magic with our students. I was able to visit one of our adult education. It's actually an English second language class as part of our refugee program. Mark Frederick is the professor there for English as second language, and this was people from all around the world learning English, and it was just what a pleasure it was to be in there and see teaching English, right, and seeing students work with that, and it was great. Also had a great opportunity I want to give special thanks to the 162nd Air National Guard out there near the airport, and it was really fun. I got to do a F-18 fighter simulation, so that was pretty cool. But again, we're doing things with the Air Force. We have some support out at Davis-Monthan as well as the 162nd, and we provide paramedic training. And so again, this is just another example of great partnerships that Pima has with various organizations. Last week, and I think this is important for the board, myself and Vice Chancellor Dr. Ian Work, we attended the American Association of Community Colleges Workforce Development Institute, and some of the key themes there that I think really inform what we're doing here at the college is coordinating economic development strategies, right? Pima exists in an ecosystem, and how we work to leverage that in support of our students. Something we're talking about, curriculum relevance, making sure that our programs meet immediate workforce needs, and this was a workforce development institute, they talked a lot about improving transfer, right? If we make a commitment to students to get a bachelor's degree, as we heard today at the Mission Moment, a student going on and succeeding at the University of Arizona, what can we do to continue to facilitate that pipeline where people can earn bachelor's degrees or go directly into the workforce? Supporting local businesses, collaboration and competition. And one of the phrases there is we need to collaborate in order to effectively compete. And I thought that says a lot about our internal workings, how we collaborate, but also how we collaborate in the competition. And another phrase there was it's all workforce development. No matter what it is you want to do, go on and earn a bachelor's degree, become a doctor, get a welding certificate, whatever it is, it's all about developing career readiness and workforce development. So the conference really reinforced some of the importance of communicating our impact on the college. Finally, I want to, at that all-faculty day, I know it's been recognized, and a lot of people already know this internally, but we're at a board meeting. I want to recognize our esteemed provost, Dr. Duran Serta. At that all-faculty day, she did announce her impending retirement, freedom, I suppose. But I want to recognize her great work. In the short time that I've worked with Dolores, she's just been nothing short of outstanding in her leadership, and I have much gratitude for the great work that you do. Give her a hand. So thank you for your continued leadership and support to all of the board, and with that, I'll end. Thank you.
All right. Questions or comments for Chancellor? No? All right. Section 3 is all information items, so just, hopefully everybody's had a chance to look through those. Moving on to Section 4, does anyone want to pull anything from the consent agenda before we go there? No? All right. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. That's passed unanimously. Moving on to section 5. 5.1 is the discussion and possible approval of the governing board's annual calendar of regular board meetings and study sessions. So there were 2 meeting date changes for board meetings and a time shift for study sessions. So is there a motion on that? And then we can discuss it if there's discussion.
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
All right, a move and a second. Any discussion on that item?
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you explain to me why we're moving the study sessions till after the workday, considering so many of our employees have already been working from, 9 to 5? I know that except for me, you all are full-time employees elsewhere, so I'm wondering, is that the reason that we
You
that we
hit
moved
the
it?
bullseye there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was trying to better accommodate those of us that are working full-time. And yeah, Board Member Randall, if you want to say anything.
It's my fault. It was my suggestion to move it because of our schedules. I wanted to accommodate, I didn't want to move both the regular meeting and the study session, so I just chose one, and I figured the study session was the better one to move because I did want to respect people's time here as well. So it was my recommendation.
All right. Other questions or discussion? No? All right, then we'll, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
I'm also an aye. I would like to say, if we find that there is, I don't know what the right word, consternation or whatever, after, I know I do not work as well when I've already been working for many, many hours. So I would hope that we would be, sensitive to the employees' needs.
Sure.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. That passes unanimously. Section 6, any requests for future agenda items?
Chair Taylor?
Yeah.
I want to mention that at public comment, and I realize I could have brought it up then, but I'll bring it up here instead. Ms. Hayes had mentioned seeing if we could reconvene a discussion about shared governance goals and definition, and that was brought up again with Ambassador, with the ambassador here. I wanted to see if that's something that we could discuss.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, just future discussion on shared governance and its definitions. Any other future agenda items?
I would like to bring up again, trying to implement 360-degree evaluation for all employees. Once again, I don't think we actually know how successful we're being if we're not evaluating ourselves appropriately. And currently, faculty are the only groups that are evaluated around. Students evaluate them, and then they also are evaluated by their supervisors. So I know that Dr. Nassi had mentioned earlier on that when he was looking into the evaluation procedure process, that it was there, but it was, and I'm making these words up, you didn't say them, but how I interpreted it is it was more touchy-feely and not necessarily data-driven. And so I would like to see us do a better job at assessing ourselves.
Great.
Thank you.
A look at how we evaluate. Any other agenda items? No? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I think you get to do that if you want.
Well, I'm spreading it out. We're sharing the love. Is there a second? I can second it. All right, I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 We're adjourned.